right, hello everybody and welcome. This is Starship Adventures. I'm not sure where the rest of that audio is coming from, so I'll turn it off. Let me check something here real quick, make sure we're still on the right output. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right. Yeah, I decided that I was going to go live tonight. I'm wanting to test the system a little bit, so I'm going to use this live along with everything else that we're doing here to test the system here and make sure that it is working. All right, there we go. All right, just give me a second to let everybody else know in our other chat rooms that we are live. There we go. All right, we've got something going on tonight that we've never done before. This is a bit unprecedented tonight. Believe it or not, we actually are broadcasting now out of the studio here. Wow. We've got a total of 7 live broadcasts on Starship Adventures and 1 live broadcast over on Simplex Radio. So we now are putting out 8 simultaneous high-definition broadcasts from the studio here. I've spent the day working on this and tweaking it and getting it all set to go, and it looks really good. All right, I'm getting this in all the other chat rooms. Just bear with me for a second here. We've got folks spread around in all the different chat rooms, so I'm letting everybody know. I'm putting in a link to this specific video so people can find us out there. Thanks to everybody that went into the other videos and liked and all that good stuff. It makes a big difference on the algorithms. And yeah, this is a plugs out test tonight. For those not familiar with the term plugs out test, it's a NASA term that means that we're literally going to pull the plugs out, make sure everything works on batteries. It basically means the final test. I mean, it's one of the final tests before you actually light the candle and go to the moon. And there you go. All right, I've got this in there on all the different chat rooms. And so, yeah, tonight we are doing a plugs out test to see and to make sure that we're able to do what we are able to do. Hey, Victor, thank you for being here. Let me make sure that my audio looks good here. Check, check, check. There we go. Not bad. All right. I do have the scanners ready if we need them. We are going to be checking around to see what's going on. I will tell you guys that on the screens, upper left and upper right, those are protests in LA. They are purported as being live, and I believe they're live, or at least they happened in the last hour. In the center, you got Times Square on the left, and you've got Beetlejuice on the right. This is kind of a neat thing that we're kind of watching here. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm pulling all this up here. All right, so we're going to be watching this Beetlejuice tonight. It is basically what it is it's a bright red supergiant. Betelgeuse or Beetlejuice, however you want to pronounce it, is a red supergiant star located in the constellation Orion. It marks the shoulder of the hunter, and it's easily visible by the naked eye. It's one of the brightest stars in the night sky, visible without a telescope, glowing a distant reddish-orange color. Distance from Earth, Betelgeuse is approximately 642 light years away. And remember, light year is not a measurement of how long something happens. A light year is a measurement of how far something has traveled. 1 light year is the distance that light will travel in 1 year. It's very simple. So when they say it's 100 light years away, if you were traveling at light speed, you would arrive there in exactly 100 years. Okay? So light speed, or the speed of light, that is 1 light year. And however long it takes that light to travel, that 1 year, that is considered the distance measurement of 1 light year. Okay, so this one, if you were traveling at the speed of light and you left today, and you could instantly accelerate to the speed of light, which of course you couldn't do, and you were instantly able to decelerate at the other end, it would still take you 642 years to arrive at Betelgeuse. And it's based on recent parallax measurements that they take from the GAIA. Took these measurements. If Betelgeuse were placed at the center of our solar system, it would engulf Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and even Jupiter. As far out as Jupiter is, the giant. This Betelgeuse would actually, the star would be large enough that it would encompass all the way out past the orbit of Jupiter. So we would be in the middle of it if it was here. It has a radius of about 1,200 times that of our sun here, of our solar sun here. Betelgeuse is in its late evolutionary stage and is expected to explode as a supernova sometime in the next 100,000 years. So you might want to keep watching. It could happen any minute now. Possibly sooner, it says. Famous dimming event. In 2019 through 2020, Betelgeuse dimmed dramatically over several months, leading many to speculate the supernova was imminent. But it turned out to be a massive dust cloud ejection. The star expands and contracts on a cycle, causing its brightness to vary naturally over time. It's classified as a semi-regular variable star. Surface activity and eruptions. Betelgeuse has a violent bubbling surface with giant convection cells and occasional massive mass loss events, which are visible in infrared and also by radio telescope. It's most visible in the winter sky in the northern hemisphere from November through March, rising in the east during early evenings. What will you see if it goes supernova? When Betelgeuse does go supernova, it could shine brighter than the full moon for weeks and be visible even in daylight. But it will not pose a danger to Earth because it is just way too far away. Okay, so there you go. But I thought it was cool. We actually have someone that is using a very expensive telescope optical array there to capture that live image of the Betelgeuse sun out there at 1,000 times zoom. So I thought that was kind of cool. I found that and I'm like, oh, that's neat. The other things that are going on tonight, we are doing something that we've never done before. We're currently broadcasting 8 live streams out of the studio at one time. I have 7 coming out of Starship Adventures, and we have Simplex Radio, who is live also. If you guys have not liked and subscribed to him, please do that. It is Simplex Radio, and here, I'll put in the link for you guys. We're trying to get him up. He's just started not long ago, and we're really trying to get his numbers up for him. So throw him a subscribe and a like on there. I'd appreciate it. Yes, and you know what's funny? Yes, precious metals are doing good right now. Let's see. I watch silver because I collect silver. Holy shit. Oh, that's good news for me because I'm getting ready to cash in about $1,000 worth of silver to go buy a car. And I know it seems crazy. I tell you guys way too much information, but yeah, I'm literally what the hell was that? I'm literally look at this. This is silver. Look at that. Yeah, silver's up $28, currently $38.41. $38.41. is the current spot price for silver. So yeah, if you are, if you're looking to cash in, you want to watch this right now. I don't know what that noise is. Ridiculous, whatever. All right, so it was playing something. All right, so here we go. Let's get back to the grid. But yeah, silver prices are up dramatically. And boy, I always said if it hit $40, I was going to run down there with a bunch of that silver. My family bought all that silver when it was $20, $25 an ounce. So I've made good money on it already, and I'm ready to cash some of it in. I got to buy a car. My old van, the engine's making a noise, the air conditioner's out. And in Florida, the air conditioner is just as important as the motor. So, yeah, I'll probably be seeing what I got to do with that. I know I wasn't going live tonight, but I just got in the mood, and I wanted to test this streaming out. Let me do one more thing here real quick. I'm going to do something that everybody's going to roll their eyes, okay? Because it's kind of a stupid thing. But I don't care. I want you guys to see something, all right? I am going to, here in just a second, I'm getting ready to test this out. Right now, what I have, and I'm going to show you guys something you don't normally get to see here. Let me get this in here, and let me go to this one. I want you guys to see this. This is my screen on what's going on right now as far as my streams. And there you go. Look at that. We're doing great right now. All excellent and one good. They all, some of them have viewers going on there. And you can see that we are live on a bunch of different channels there. So also, Simplex Radio has one channel up as well. These are all going out in high definition. So I know this is crazy, but while I'm on the computer broadcasting, and while we have 8 simultaneous streams going out, I'm going to speed test my fiber right here on this computer. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. Now remember, I'm broadcasting on this computer in high definition, and I'm broadcasting on 7 other computers in high definition. Jesus, look at that. I'm still at 850 down, 826 down. Look at that. With 8 continuous high definition streams going up, I'm still over 900 gigabits upstream. That's nuts. Holy shit. Yes. Yes, they finally made an internet connection fast enough for this one. What do you guys think about that, huh? You ever see anybody run a speed test on a computer that's currently broadcasting? Android had an update. I'm sorry to hear that, Victor. Updates are bad no matter what platform they're on. First thing I do, just so everybody knows, anybody that's out there, oh my God, Windows 10 is going to be out of updates. Oh my God, what am I going to do? Windows 10, they're no longer updating it, and that means that all the hackers in Mumbai are going to move into my computer. No, it doesn't, okay? Come on, seriously. Let me tell you guys something, okay? Windows 10 is going to be fine for 5 more years. Don't worry about it. If you are a dark web surfer, a hacker, someone that likes to go into porno sites all the time, different ones, checking things out. If you're someone that does things online that are borderline illegal or illegal, you want to go ahead and get Windows 11 and stay fully updated. I'm just going to be honest. Now, if you're someone like me that I don't do anything illegal on the internet. I mean, I'm not even violating any of YouTube's terms and services right now that I'm aware of. I don't need, boom. It is what it is. I don't do anything wrong. So I don't go to dark web. I don't surf porno sites. I don't do all these things where I'm going and putting my computer at a very high risk. If you don't put your computer at a high risk, you don't need to worry about Windows 10 being out of date. I'm telling you, I installed this version of Windows Pro 2 years ago, and the first thing I did was turn off the updates. You can't do it with Home, but you can do it with Pro and most of the other versions. I went in there and I actually did 5 different things in the registry and different places, and I completely shut off Windows' ability to download updates, Windows' ability to install updates, and Windows' ability to even see updates. And then I firewalled the Microsoft site using the Microsoft firewall, which that makes me feel good inside. That I used Bill Gates' Microsoft firewall to block Bill Gates' website. And I don't allow my computer to update ever. I'm still using right now a 2.5-year-old version of Windows 10 on this machine. I've got 2-year-old versions of Windows 10 on those 3 machines and 1-year-old versions of Windows 10 on the 3 behind me. And they are all disabled from updating. They never update. They still have the original version of Windows in them. I believe the whole scaring people, oh my God, updates are going to end soon, and so is the whole world. Guess what? No, they're just trying to get you to update to Windows 11. That's all. They want you on Windows 11. And so every time they're ending service earlier and earlier and making a bigger deal out of it. And the reason they're doing that is because they just want you to buy the new Windows 11. And then when you update Windows 11 into your Windows 10 machine, you're going to be profoundly unhappy. 90% of the people that upgrade are unhappy with the speed and performance of the machine after the Windows 10 to Windows 11 update. So I strongly recommend staying with Windows 10 on your machine. If you want to go to Windows 11, if you feel like you need to go to Windows 11, buck up and buy a new machine. I'm just being honest. Spend the $600, buy you a new machine, build you a machine, build a wonderful machine for $600 or $800. That's what you need to do. But don't upgrade your current kind of slow machine to Windows 11 because it'll be almost unusable once you're done, if it even doesn't lock up during the process. I know 2 people that bricked computers on the Windows 10 to Windows 11 migration. I don't recommend it in any case. I suggest turning off Windows updates. Do not allow your computer to talk to the Microsoft website. That's the best thing to do. I've been working on Linux today. I never learned that operating system. I'm a Windows guy. As much as I'm not much on Windows, it's still the better operating system. It's better than Apple by far because Apple, everything's expensive. Everything costs money. And the truth is, Apple programming and software is really not much better, if better at all, than Windows programming and software. But yet they charge you out the ass for it. And it's very proprietary, and I don't like Apple for that reason, so I don't use Apple. Linux, I never got into Linux because the couple of times I started getting into Linux, it became so difficult. I have to admit, I went back there to that machine today, and I was able to get it up. The 7.2 right now, the one that's going out that's called the 7.2, that feed is actually going out off of a Linux machine. I actually figured it out. I figured out OBS, which is a system I'm not used to, and I figured out on a Linux machine, which I'm not used to. And I, after about 3 or 4 hours, I was able to get that feed up on that computer. So that now maximizes everything. I have every desktop computer that I have in here, all 8 of them, broadcasting a feed. So that we're kind of maxed out. That's what we have. Now, as far as internet, I have 1 gigabyte up, 1 gigabyte down service. As you can see, I'm only using 10% of it, even now. They have offered me 7 gig up and 7 gig down for $25 more a month. I can't see spending the money. I just can't. There's just the pool's so deep. Why would you need a 50-foot deep pool? You're never going to swim in the bottom of it. You're only going to swim in the top 4 feet. So why do you need a 50-foot deep pool? You don't. All you need is it to be deep enough so you can't touch the bottom. And that's where I'm at right now. No matter how much I push this, no matter how much I do, I can't touch the bottom. Okay, that upper left video has just recycled. That fruitcake there was on a, he was on a protest about a week and a half ago. So again, these channels are regurgitating and rebroadcasting old feeds. There's another one I saw. Hindu Times right now has live military takeover of California, and they're showing the cops going in to get those cars out from under the overpass 3.5 weeks ago on the 410 freeway. I'm sorry, guys, that just pisses me off. It's literally a lie. And there's 50 people on there watching. 50 people on there watching. I got a legitimate stream going on right now with actual commentary, and I'm trying to keep the stream live, and I've got 14 people watching. It blows my mind that people will sit there like drones and watch this 15-day, 20-day, 30-day-year-old video and pass up the ones that are actually live and doing stuff. It really sucks, to be honest. Okay, here we go. Crux is showing the tear gas footage from across from the federal building from 3 weeks ago. Money Control, that's another one. Money Control is showing an old protest. Yep, that's what I've got up in the upper left there. That's Money Control. That's the Indian Express. That's showing a Kenyan video from Kenya from 3 days ago. I actually recognize it. CNN News 18, which is not CNN. It's actually CNN News 18. Stupid. They're showing as live ICE agents raiding places and doing things. This is all video from 2 days ago. Okay, this is all video from that from the Glass Farms marijuana growing facility where they went in and they found a bunch of underage workers working. That's what that's from. The Economic Times showing a rerun of earlier today.
That is probably one of the funnest parts
Incredible.
of this job is literally matching up residents that are alike.
All right. All right, I'm going to replace that upper left one because I know that is regurgitated. I got a guy here that's trying to keep some feeds live. We'll go to him and see what we got here. He's got a couple of them up that he found. So there you go. What are they protesting? That's where there's been a lot of confusion because you'll have 150 people show up to protest, and 20 of them are protesting for LGBTQIA plus rights, and 35 of them are protesting against ICE raid. 42 of them are protesting because they hate Donald Trump and they think that he's some kind of dictator. And then you've got another 35 that have vagina hats on, and they're out there for women's rights. And then you've got 35 more that are fighting because they feel that men should be able to identify as women and be in sports. And then you've got about 35 more that are the actual anarchists that are just hanging out in the crowd waiting for enough people to show up that they can start their bullshit. That's literally, that was the makeup of the of that protest we watched yesterday. Glass. Oh, that's I guess that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, they took them out in vans and buses, and then the vans and buses were attacked on the way out with the windshields and side windows being smashed. They were literally throwing rocks at the buses that were holding the people that they didn't want them to take, which I thought was kind of strange. You're throwing like cinder blocks at a van that's full of like your people that you are trying to protest to protect. I don't understand that. It's like, I think what it is, again, you've got your 10 anarchists out there. Hey, let's throw rocks. And that's literally what it is. All right, so and weather-wise, we are watching on the weather side. The only thing we have right now is 3 severe thunderstorm warnings up in Canada, believe it or not. We don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings here in the United States, nor do we have any active storm chasers that I'm aware of. So we are just continuing to watch to see if anything develops. If we do get anything tonight, it will be down in these 2 areas that stretches from Pueblo down to Santa Fe and Albuquerque, and then come down all the way down into West Texas. And we have another section here that's a very slight chance of bad weather coming up, and that's over here on the east side of Texas. And we do have a few cams here that I'll go ahead and pull up and put up here, since we have the space and we're not using it for anything else right now. These are some live shots out ahead of this storm system here that's coming across. Whoop, that one has no camera. Yep, so that's what we got there. There's just a few cameras out in front of that one. Great shots coming in though from these stationary cams. I'll just leave those up for right now. And I've got the I got it in national mode so you can see all the radars at once. And there you go. The hell of a thunderstorm over here getting ready to come in. Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's I was just looking up here. Just crossed the Mississippi coming into Ripley. We've got some good rain coming in there, and you can see the sunset. The camera's in night mode, so you're seeing an infrared right now. All right. So a fairly quiet weather night. Like I said, there's no storm chasers out. These guys get rest when they can, and they're all taking the night off. All right. It is dark here. It's 9:51 on the East Coast, and currently 8:51 here where we're looking here, and the sun is setting there. The sun is set, and it's actually going into twilight now. As that line of thunderstorms moves towards Little Rock, Arkansas. But we are going to continue to watch that, even though there is not a whole lot going on there tonight. Let's do a quick check of the news, make sure we're not missing anything that's going on in the news nationally. Let's see what we got here. New Jersey has the highest property tax rate in the United States of America. Wow. Yeah, here, believe it or not, people don't believe it, but we do not have an income tax here. There is federal, of course. Everybody pays federal, but we do not pay state income tax in the state of Florida. There is no state income tax. We literally pay our federal, which is what, 16% ish, and that's it. And then we pay a property tax and a sales tax like everybody else. Well, they're talking now, and I think this is pretty cool. They're literally looking at the possibility of getting rid of our property tax down here as well, and going to strictly a consumption tax, a sales tax, and they're looking into it right now. Florida already is one of the lowest tax states that you're ever going to find. We've got friends in Baltimore, and I listen to what they pay in taxes every year, and it is crazy. He pays double to renew his license. He pays double to renew his tags. He pays He's paying 8 or 10 times the amount of property tax I'm paying. And he pays a cent more in sales tax and 4% income tax to live in Maryland. And he literally pays almost double the tax to government that I do living in Florida. We are one of the lowest tax states in the country. And why is that? We tax our tourists. Our tourists come here and they spend money in our stores, and we get that tax money. We charge a bed tax, and that bed tax that we charge is like, I don't know, I think it's 5 cents. If you stay in a hotel in Lee County, you pay 5% bed tax, okay? That bed tax goes directly to things that benefit you as a someone who comes here. It helps buy the spring training ball fields, which I don't really agree with, but whatever. It helps buy beach renourishment. That's the number one thing that money does. That's the money we use. We don't spend our own money to pump that dirt back up on the beach when the storms take it away. We actually have a big ship that sits out off the coast, has a thing that goes down and it sucks up all the dirt, and then it runs it through a thing and it kind of washes it, sends it up to the shore, and then the sand is actually squirted back up on the shore again using this whole process that uses a ship offshore. And we actually re-nourish our beaches, and that's all done with this 5% bed tax. So yeah, I mean, it's one of the lowest price states to live in right now. And right now, if you look, if you live in the city of New York, you'll pay about 52% of what you make in tax to the government. 52 to 55% of what you make in tax to the government. If you live in Florida, it's closer to 25%. Why would anyone live in a state where they're taking twice your money? I don't get it. There's other states that are pretty good. Texas, Georgia, pretty low tax, no income tax. Doing good. There is no. Yeah, California is bad. They've got a state income tax. They've got higher property taxes than we do. They have higher sales taxes than we do. They have more overall taxes than we do, like rain taxes and things like that. And they also have a lot more regulatory type taxes as well that we do. If you live in California, you're going to spend nearly 50% of what you make on tax, on one form of tax or another. Where if you lived here, it's closer to 26 or 27%. So, yeah, it's crazy. But that's why everybody's moving here. You know, every contractor in this entire area is booked out for 3 years. You couldn't build a house now if you wanted to. Everybody's booked out. The housing market's coming up. While other places are crashing, ours is stable. And the reason is because even though they're building these cookie cutter communities and they're building these cookie cutter multifamilies and all this stuff, doesn't matter. They can't keep up with the people moving here. They're moving here so fast. And now there's a possibility that New York is about to have a communist become the governor of New York. If that happens, we are already down here, especially on our East Coast, we are already looking at what we're going to need to do to be ready for this large influx of people coming from the city of New York. I know it doesn't, it seems like, how could people coming from one city affect the whole state? Dude, New York's as big as part of this state as far as population goes. New York City, I mean, it's a big place, and they're running people out of there so fast. The taxes are going up again. A pack of Marlboros down here is $6.50. In New York, it's $16. It's just crazy. Gasoline right now in some states in the north is almost double what it is here. We're paying, I think, $2.69 for gas right now. There's still places paying $3.69 for gas right now. So it's just you really have to watch. You have to watch where you live and what your tax rate is. And if you're willing to move, you can do a lot better. And people will say, well, yeah, but you moved to Florida, they pay less in Florida. That's not necessarily true. Florida jobs comparably to, say, New York jobs, yeah, New York jobs do pay more, but your cost of living there is twice what it is here. You can get into an apartment here for $1,200 a month, or a nice apartment here, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, for $1,200 a month. In New York, it's $4,000 or $5,000 to get into that same apartment inside on Staten Island, in Manhattan, anywhere, Queens, Brooklyn, anywhere. You're going to find $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to get into something that I can get into for $1,200. So yeah, it's a lot more. There's a lot more taxes up there, but also things are more expensive up there. So yeah, the salaries are more up there, but that does not keep pace with the tax and the cost of living. It doesn't. You're just not going to have as much money left over if you live in some of these other places. The Legend of Florida Man. Let me tell you something that you'd want to know about Florida Man. If you read to the bottom of every Florida Man article, the bottom line says, the man just moved to Florida 3 years ago from Ohio. The next story will say, oh, the man migrated to Florida 5 years ago from Michigan. I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, there's a lot of stupid assholes in Florida, but most of them came here from somewhere else. Truthfully, you know, only 1 in 10 Florida Man stories is actually a Florida-born man, okay? Period. So that's why that's kind of gotten that way, because we have a lot of people here, and we have a lot of people that move here, and a lot of strange things happen here. And if people move here and they're not used to it, things will happen, like a gator will take their dog next to the pond. And it's stuff they're not used to. And so you'll hear a lot of these crazy Florida Man stories. But the truth is, there's no crazier people here than anywhere else. Okay? You're telling me people are crazier in Florida than in California or Arkansas or West Virginia, or I don't mean to disparage anybody, because every state has their weirdos, but I mean there's no more higher concentration per capita of people that do crazy things in Florida than anywhere else, I don't think. Ding ding, that's another one. Food costs. Yeah, if you go to a Charlie's cheesesteak in Staten Island and you get a Charlie's cheesesteak, it's $32. If I go to the Edison Mall here and I get a Charlie cheesesteak, it's $10.53. And it's the same restaurant, but each restaurant has to set their prices up based on the cost of living in that area. Oh, I can imagine what it costs to buy lunch up there. You know, they've got bridges that cost $10 or $20 to cross a bridge every time you cross it up there. We bitch because we pay $7 to go to Sanibel. Most of us just don't go to Sanibel. We call it the Sanibel cover charge. I don't believe in tolls, so I don't do tolls. I'll drive around. Yeah, I live kind of not rural. I live semi-rural. I live in an area where I can put up what I want. Code enforcement leaves us alone, but I still got houses pretty much around me. It's kind of a half and half deal. It's not really a neighborhood, but it's also not ranchettes either. It's just properties with houses on them, and the people can kind of do what they want. But it's getting hard down here in Florida. We have some towns like Cape Coral that are disgusting to live in. I would never move to Cape Coral. What a disgusting town. And I'll tell you why. Not only do you pay city tax, which is another tax, another 4 or 5% you're paying on top of everything else on your property tax, you're paying a city tax, okay? And you're paying all this extra city tax in your property tax. So you're paying extra to live in there. And you know what Cape Coral does? They have one of the most aggressive building departments, and a very, very, very aggressive code enforcement. You know, they have sprinkler patrol. They literally have multiple patrol trucks that go out at night that have stripes and lights on them, and it says code enforcement on the side. And they're out writing tickets because your sprinklers came on the wrong night. That's their job. If you're on the right side of the street, you've got an even number, you're only allowed to water on Mondays or something, The odd side of the street is Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays you're not allowed to water at all. It's very complicated, very stupid, and they drive around at night. I've seen them. I was driving a scan car for a repo guy for a while, so I was driving every single road in Cape Coral about once every 3 weeks. So I was seeing this town like no other person ever sees it. Starting at 9 at night to 5 in the morning, I would drive around a car that had scanners mounted all around it, and I would scan where everybody's car is parked at night so that when you don't pay your bill, we can just come pick it up real quick. Well, I'm doing this job and I'm driving around and I'm scanning all these tags and all these, and I keep running into this truck. And he's blacked out and he's sneaking around. And finally, I had enough. I pulled up behind him and got out and walked up. I said, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm code enforcement." I said, "Let me guess, sprinkler timing." He goes, "Yep, I'm writing tickets." And he's out writing $100 tickets to every single person whose sprinklers came on either at the wrong time, because they can't come on before 8 p.m. They can't be on after 5 a.m. and on the wrong day or during a complete ban or whatever. They will police and police and police. They literally have sprinkler patrol. They also actively patrol during the day for code enforcement. They will drive around in those same trucks they use at night. They have different guys that come in and take those same patrol trucks out during the day, and they drive around looking at everybody's property, writing tickets for boats. You're not allowed to park a boat in your front yard. You're not allowed to park a boat in your driveway. It has to be all the way in your backyard or not at all. You're not allowed to park commercial vehicles in your yard. In your driveway. You own the goddamn house, and they tell you what you can and can't park in your driveway. I could never live in a city like this. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I could never live somewhere where it's bad enough here. Code enforcement technically can come here and tell me what to do on my property here, but the difference is Lee County does not actively enforce. Lee County is a reactionary department, which is the way it should be. If your neighbor files a complaint on you, okay, they will come out and investigate the complaint. And if it's necessary, they will issue a warning. They don't go write the fines like Cape Coral does. And they give you 30 days, 10 days, whatever, to fix it. Okay, this fence didn't have a permit. Here, just fill this out. Let's get this little permit. Pay your $10. They've been pretty cool, actually. Lee County Code Enforcement been pretty cool with us out here, I gotta say. But Cape Coral, I mean, the only thing they're not wearing is the red band on their right arm. I mean, come on. Who could live like that? It does sound like that, ding ding. You know, if you live in the UK, if you want to watch TV, you have to pay a television tax. And they actually have cops that come out and look in your windows to see if you've got a TV on in there. They have a list of all the homes that did not pay their TV tax. And if they can see a TV on in your window from the curtilage of the residence, they will fine you hundreds and hundreds of dollars, whatever they call them over there. And they will do it because you didn't pay a television tax. What does the television tax do? Well, a television tax goes along with the FCC license taxes that they already collect, and all that money is gathered up to pay the people that go out and see if you're watching TV. The only reason for the enforcement is to increase the size and scope of government. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's just dumb. It's like we charge people to park so that we can pay somebody to make sure that they're not parked there too long. Why not just let people freaking park? Why is it such a big deal? I don't understand it. Downtown, they're trying to revitalize downtown. All right, we went on our radio show, and I said on there, I said, if these people, if the city commissioners wanted the city of Fort Myers, if the councilman wanted the city of Fort Myers, the downtown area, to be prosperous again, if they want it to be prosperous again, remove the parking fees. Okay, that's simple. I would go down there 3 times a week and have lunch with my mom on First Street. There's 4 or 5 great restaurants down there, including Ford's and a bunch of places, Edison. There's like really neat places down there, right? I won't eat there because I have to park the car 4 blocks away. I have to drive all around downtown because there's not near enough parking. They build everything right next to each other, no parking. Then they build these big parking garages in inconvenient locations and then charge you $10 to go park in there. I'm not paying to park my car to go have lunch at a downtown restaurant. I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. And I'll tell you why I refuse to do it. My money paid for those parking spaces. Those parking spaces were paid for by city taxes and county taxes. And then you're going to turn around and charge me to park on my own shit? How can you do that with a clear conscience? How can you honestly say, hey, I know technically it's your parking spot. It's public. It's a traditional public forum. It's right on the side of the road. But you got to pay to park your property on your property. Bullshit. That needs to end. We've got to stop our government from charging us to park on our own property. Now, if it's a parking garage and we have to pay for the parking garage, there's discussion room there. There's discussion room there. I still don't like it, but we can discuss it. But for the most part, especially street side parking, open parking, never, we should not pay for that. Beach parking. We go down to Fort Myers Beach, right? Now, Fort Myers Beach was completely leveled by Ian. There was very few buildings that are left. So now's a perfect opportunity for the beach to come back and put in a lot more parking. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not going to have any more parking than they had before, even though that was their biggest problem, traffic and parking. And yet, even though the entire town was scraped down to the bone, they're going to build it back with no more traffic lanes and no more parking than they had before the storm. It's just humans are stupid. And then what they'll do is we got 40 cars, we can park 40 cars here. So we're going to charge everybody $10 an hour to park here. And that way, most people won't want to park there. And then that way, there'll always be a spot there if you want one, if you're willing to pay. So in other words, it's parking for the rich. It's basically class parking, okay, is what it is. But I really don't agree with that either. It's just like when you're going up towards Atlanta, they've got the rich people lanes in the middle. Do you know they put that express lane down the middle of the interstate? It's one lane. They put it all the way down the middle of the interstate. Where they put that one lane that you now have to pay $4, $5, $10 to use, okay? Where they put that one lane, they could have put 4 lanes, 2 in one direction and 2 in the other. But instead, they put one lane, and they put lights, and they put signs, and they put all kinds of cool stuff, and cameras, and scanners, and readers, and walls, and retention devices, and big arms with big red lights on them, and all this bullshit. All they had to do was just put the fucking 4 lanes in there. That's all they had to do, and there would have been enough lanes for everybody. But they won't do that. They won't do that because now they have a class system. The government likes a class system. They like the upper class has a lane and the lower class has a lane. Think about it. Your money bought that lane. You're not allowed to use it unless you pay additional money. They could have put enough lanes in using that space to where we wouldn't have needed express lanes. But then if we didn't need express lanes, they wouldn't be able to milk people out of money. It's stupid. Yeah, downtown Chicago, all paid or permit. They got a thing here now. You got to download an app on your phone if you want to park in the city of Fort Myers. You got to download an app in your phone. I won't do it. I won't do it. And since I won't do it, I don't park downtown. I don't patronize downtown. I don't shop down there. I don't go to restaurants down there. And we like it down there. It's a neat little downtown area. It's a small town. It's like 3 blocks by 4 blocks. It's a small little area, but it's nice. We have parades down there a couple times a year. We have a big New Year's thing, a 4th of July thing down there. It's a nice little downtown, but it's underutilized and underused because of the snafu with parking. So we went on the show, and we really cranked on the city of Fort Myers, called them everything you could imagine. Just greedy, money-grubbing pricks out there trying to charge. You know, you got people going to a bar at 11 o'clock at night to go drink, and you want him to download the app and pay you to park in front of the bar where he's going to drink. What the F? I mean, seriously? We have to collect that. So we made such a big deal out of it. The very next day, they had an emergency meeting, and they went free parking after 6 p.m. So we did have a victory on this. Now, I think it's still like that even. I think that they kept that. It's been about 6 or 8 months now, and I think they're still doing that. Because we kept going on, and people kept calling in and saying, like, I won't go down there at night. I won't go to bars downtown. I won't go to Henry Street because I'm not dealing with it. I can't find a place to park. It's bullshit, and I'm not dealing with it. And so what ends up happening is the businesses downtown lose out. It's bad enough that they don't have anywhere for their employees to park. They don't have anywhere for them to park. And now there's nowhere for their customers to park unless they want to pay a bunch of money. Where simply buildings are coming down all the time. We've got several big lots downtown that are not even being built. We need parking. We need parking. We need to expand the parking we have. We need to add additional parking. It's that simple. You know, you want to take some of that tourist money and spend it on something, spend it on parking. And then stop charging us to park in our own parking spots that we paid for with tax money. Stop it. Yeah, ding ding. There's been a lot of issues with that app that they've got. We've got a lot of that going on down here. You know, we defeated the red light cameras. We defeated the speed cameras. Those were both very unconstitutional. But now we've got speed cameras going in school zones. This is how anytime the government wants to do something and we won't let them, they always say, you win, no problem. They back up, they wait 1 year, and then they do the same thing again, but this time it's for the children. Mark my words. Next time the government in your town tries to do something and they get shut down, you watch what happens. They'll wait 12 to 18 months. They'll put out the same plan again, but this time it's for the children. It's based for the children. That's what they did here. We defeated the red light cameras. We defeated the speed cameras. Now they're putting them back up. Well, guess what? They put them up all over the place, right? First thing it did was issue hundreds and hundreds of tickets for the wrong speed. They've had all kinds of trouble. The same company that's in the Cape is now, they're all in trouble with the Cape because they keep screwing up out in Cape Coral. And now that same company was looked at to put them in Fort Myers. And when they showed up to give the presentation at the City of Fort Myers board meeting, all the data on the sheets was for a different client. And it was completely botched, and the city decided not to do it, thank God. But they didn't decide not to do it because it's unconstitutional and because it's wrong. They decided not to do it because if we're having problems with that company, we'll go find another company. Look, they're going to have radar cameras. They're going to have speed cameras. They're going to have stoplight cameras, stop sign cameras, red light cameras. They're going to have it all. And the only way to prevent it is to fight it every time it happens. We're now fighting these ones in the school zones. Problem is, everybody's like, why don't you want these in the school zones? Do you hate kids? Do you want dead children on the side of the road? It's like, come on, dude, seriously? Yeah, if Waymo offered an air taxi UAV, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. The truth is what the government wants, and I'm going to tell you that you're not going to like this, but what the government wants is they don't want you parking in their parking spots. What they want is you taking their city bus. They want you to sell your car and rely on them to be your transportation. That's what they want. And right now, our Lee Transit here, they get $20 million or something every year in tax money. Plus, they charge a fare to everybody that gets on the bus, and they're still in the red. They're still in the red. They drive empty buses around town all day because we're a rural area here, and busing, it doesn't really work well. And it's just another big waste of money. The city wastes money. Why do we need buses? Well, because other cities have buses. But they don't do any good here. You know, for what we spend, this is funny. If you take the number of people that rode more than 50 times a year, and you take the money you spend on Lee Transit, on the system, on the buses and the people, the manpower, the diesel fuel, believe it or not, if you took all the people that rode the bus 50 times or more, which is all your regular users, people that use it to go to work, people that use it to go to the grocery store, if you took that and you it took the number of riders that ride it 40 to 50 times a year or more, there's enough money there to buy every single one of them a brand new car and put insurance on it for 5 years, and you'll have money left over. Public transportation actually costs the city's money in the long run. It never relieves the traffic like it's supposed to, because generally speaking, there's only 10 people on that bus, yet it stops 20 times down the road, blocking traffic every time it merges in and out. Big lumbering piece of shit, blocking intersections, blocking everything, scooting and squatting and blocking and doing everything that it does, okay? And for what? There's 10 or 15 people on there. I'm telling you, for the money they spend here. Now, I'm not talking about Chicago or New York. Jesus, I'm sure there's public transportation that will work in those places. But down here, they spend more than it would cost just to buy all your regular riders a brand new car.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy? Yes, Victor, the bicycle, they spent $25 million taking a 70-year-old bridge and scooching all the lanes over and adding a huge bike path over one side of it. Now the lanes are all 2 foot more narrow. Trucks are bumping into the sides of the bridge. It's crazy up there. And they put this lane that goes over now for pedestrians and bicyclists. We never see anybody on it. They closed that freaking bridge down for months to build that. They spent $25 million. Do you want to know why? It was COVID money. It was earmarked for a certain project that had to involve alternate transportation. And so these idiots down here in my local government agree to tear up our perfectly good bridge to put in a pedestrian lane, when 1/2 mile over, there's another bridge called the Edison Bridge that has a beautiful protected pedestrian lane all the way across. The bridges are 1/2 mile apart. It didn't need to be done, but it was money from the federal government. It was earmarked. It had to be a public transit project. Therefore, it had to be spent on specific things, and all that we could find, apparently here, all these idiots could find to spend the money on was this bridge project. So they took the $25 million and they bastardized our bridge that we've had for so long. The fast trains, there's nowhere has fast trains in the United States ever been put into place, and the system actually was efficient. There's never been one that has run efficiently, and there's never been one that's broke even, and there's never been one that ever gets to the point where it's working well. I mean, there's a California project out there, I forget the name of it. We've spent several billion with a B dollars on these projects out there, and would you believe that the train, they're still laying the first tracks. They're still buying land. They're still 10 or 15 years. Some of us will be dead by the time this thing opens up. And the money they will have spent on it is going to be 10 times more than they originally said it was going to cost, and they'll never make that money back because the money they charge to get on the train will not cover the train ride. Just like our bus rides here. They're 75 cents or whatever. The riders, a bus ride's $2. The money they pay doesn't cover it. Our tax money covers the millions and millions of dollars above that has to be covered. So, I don't know. Look, Dominic, I think I know what you're talking about there. You could take the money that we spend on our busing system and you could provide taxi cabs to everybody that needs it. And it would be cheaper. We'd save money. It's true. But the city doesn't see that as looking forward. They see that as looking back. Because what they want is a fully functioning, wide use bus system. But our area won't support something like that. This is South Florida. Everybody owns a car down here. I've never not owned a car. I owned my first car before I was 18. I mean, everybody owns a car down here. Everything has a parking lot. That's why I said when the parking downtown is such a big deal, because this is South Florida. There's not a lot of parking garages. There's not a lot of parking problems. We just have wide open parking spaces everywhere we want to go. Yeah, California ended up doing all that, and now the federal government's cutting back on what they're putting in. They were cutting back before, and now really cutting back under the new administration to what they're going to put on top of that bad project. David, I actually believe that that whole thing will probably just end one day. It'll never, the first passenger will never load the bus, I don't think. So I don't know. I think I don't know what all right, so yeah, they're let me see if I can get some quick info on that real quick. Let me just take a peek and see what's available. Sorry about that, guys. I had to type that in there so I could get the right response. You know, it's important to understand with ChatGPT or any of them, if you know how to formulate the question, you can always get the right answer. California high-speed rail, a boondoggle in motion. Initially, that train project out there initially had a $33 billion budget. Originally had a $33 billion budget. They don't have any section of it completed yet. It's already now at $128 billion. So we're talking 4.5 times the original amount that they said it was going to cost. In 2008, the original bond sold to voters was $33 billion price tag. The prices are ballooning every year, almost doubling in some cases. Promised to be done in 2020. They haven't completed the first stop. Was supposed to be done in 2020. Currently, they're saying they're expecting completion in 2040. So we're talking a 20-year overrun, and they still haven't got the first leg of this thing built yet. The current stretch that's under construction goes from Merced to Bakersfield. It's being criticized as the train to nowhere. A train between those 2 points is going to be completely useless until they get the rest of the system done. But they chose to start there. Constant legal battles, land acquisition delays, environmental lawsuits, and bureaucratic red tape have plagued the product since day one. Originally projected to serve up to 100 million riders per year, updated numbers show now a fraction of that, and likely not enough ridership to even break even on the project. I said that earlier. Original projected to serve 100 million riders. 100 million riders a year. Billed as a climate solution, the project has no realistic return on investment, while siphoning billions away from roads, bridges, and water systems that are in desperate need of update and repair. The project showcases top-down state planning at its worst. Massive spending, no accountability, no private investment interests, and endless excuses. One thing is for sure, when the government's completely in charge of something, they'll just keep moving the goalpost. It'll never get done. It'll never get done. And this is a perfect example of that. It's a funding shell game. Despite voter limits on Prop 1A, the state continues to move money around and seek federal bailouts, including from infrastructure bills meant for essential repair work. So they're taking federal money that's meant to fix these bridges and they're putting it towards these trains that aren't going anywhere. The original plan promised private funding. To this day, no major investors have stepped up. Does anybody want to know why? Because people who have money to invest are smart people. No smart person is going to put their money on this system. It's a loser. It was a loser from day one, and it's a loser now. The reason business people, entrepreneurs, and investors will not touch it is because it's a loser. Period. The routes have changed, the stations have changed, the purpose has shifted, all while the cost just keeps climbing. They bought a bunch of stuff they didn't need, they needed a lot of stuff they can't buy, and the goals just remain out of reach. Some now admit it's less a transit project and more a union-heavy government employment scheme, basically keeping union workers on the job, designed to funnel money into politically friendly regions and into pockets. That's the bottom line. This is a union deal. California is famous for letting the unions just run all over them. Down here in Florida, we don't do that. If you guys, if people unionize down here in Florida and they strike, the boss just walks in and fires them all and hires new people the next day. And you want to know something? We're a great state down here. We make good money. Everybody's happy. Things are going great. Why? Because the unions have not drove up the cost of labor. You know, if you go to Detroit, the reason why they're not building cars there much anymore is because the Detroit auto workers were making $90 an hour with full benefits. And on the way home, they would stop at Circle K and they would buy food from a guy that's making $7 an hour and walks to work. That's the problem with unions, is they end up pricing themselves out of business way too fast, okay? And that's what's happening here. These are all union jobs. And the unions have expensive lobbyists, and these lobbyists go to Washington and they go to the state capitol in California and they lobby and they lobby and they lobby for more funding for the rail, more funding for the rail. Why? Because that's where they get paid. They're union jobs that are being paid by the money being sent to this failed railroad project. Californians were sold a sleek, fast, low-cost transit option back in 2008. And what they got was a never-ending construction zone and a mountain of debt that they'll never get rid of. The project has become a textbook case of bureaucratic failure. now used by critics nationwide as a warning against large-scale, state-run infrastructure promises that are made without any kind of set goal or completion. They just go on in perpetuity for months and years and waste and waste and waste and waste. Physical conservatives will argue it's time to cut our losses, halt future funding, and repurpose resources into road repair, freight corridors, and actual functioning transit solutions. And I couldn't agree more. Regardless of politics, large public transit projects like this are a huge, huge waste of money, and they'll never make the money back, and they'll never get the convenience into the system, and they'll never do what they're designed to do. That's the thing, David. They've not completed anything, and they're never going to complete anything as long as we keep paying them. There's no goal. Look, they blow past every year. They blow past every deadline. And then they get their money for the next year, and the union gets their money, and everybody goes out and they swing a hammer all week. They make their money. They send their lobbyists to D.C. More money comes down. They send their lobbyists to the Capitol. More money comes down. It's a vicious cycle. And what it is, it's not a public transit project. It's a government spending machine. It's a way of laundering money from the government into unions and in workers' hands for work that was never needed, for work that's not even being completed, and for work that will never see the light of day in most cases. Yeah, we've got a system here called the Green Bus or something. Isn't that what it's called? The Green Bus or something? Yeah, and it's a really neat system. It goes from mall to mall to mall. It goes from the Naples Mall, the Miami Mall, the Fort Myers Mall, the Sarasota Mall, the Charlotte County Mall, the Bradenton, and up to Tampa. And then it comes back, and there's 2 or 3 buses. And all they do is go to shopping malls. And you can jump on and go shop at 2 different malls, 3 different malls in one day. Or if you got a buddy that lives in Tampa, you go park at your shopping mall, and then he picks you up at his shopping mall right there near his house. So that's kind of a neat thing. And you know what I like about this bus program? It was not government subsidized. A man thought it up, he bought the buses, he put in the route, and it works. That's the kind of transit that works. The government is not able to do that. They are not able to put together a program that will actually work and make it work. It's outside of the possibility. But yet a private company comes in, buys these ugly green buses, and next thing you know, man, these people are traveling all over Florida on these buses, and they're just going from shopping mall to shopping mall, and the shopping malls love it because they're all dying right now. Our shopping malls, our 10 shopping malls here range from 70% vacant down to about 10% vacant, but all of our malls are in some state of trouble here. So why not do something like this? This is great. Now, had the government tried to do this, they would still be trying to figure it out. They would have bought all kinds of money, and they'd have bought facilities, and they would have built big bus depots, and they would have built big parking structures, and they would have bought these big fancy hybrid electric super buses that run on nuclear energy or whatever, and they would spin and spin and spin and spin and spin, and the first bus would never leave the station. That's the government. Now, a private individual, a company, they went and did it, and it's done, and it works. That's why I am for privatizing almost everything that the government does. Police, fire, EMS. That's about all that I want the government running. And military. That's it. I want everything else. I want our code enforcement privatized. I want all of our government functions privatized. I want our city sewer, city water, city everything privatized. I want everything privatized. The less people that actually work for the government, the better everything works. And that's what we need to do is we need to reduce, always look to reduce the size and scale of government, and always prevent them from increasing the size and scope and scale of government. So ding ding, I'm not sure about that one. That's one that we're still out on. The government runs prisons now, and they're a mess. Places where they've done private jails, they were a mess. The problem you end up with private jails is they get paid per inmate, and next thing you know, the lobbyists are lobbying for more laws so that we can get more people being detained, so we can have more money. I don't know. See, normally speaking, if we say it's a for-profit prison, people are going to say, well, that's going to be instantly corrupt. They're corrupt now. I mean, so I'm not sure that it's necessarily worse. We tried to privatize fire down here, and a fireman got killed. So I'm not. When it comes to prisons, police, fire, and EMS and military, okay, I can live with that. Everything else should be privatized, right down to everything. I mean, there should be an employment company that hires all the county workers and everything. I mean, I don't want, the government is no good at managing itself, where private businesses seem to be able to run within. Why is a private business? Why does a private business run within its budget every year, and yet the government doesn't run within its government every year, its budget? It's because the private business is held to a standard. If he doesn't run within his budget, he has to take out a loan. If he takes out 2 or 3 loans, he goes out of business. So that's simple, okay? The government, the goal keeps moving, the money keeps coming in, and there is never an incentive to finish anything. In government, there's never an incentive to finish anything, but there's all kinds of incentive to be doing it. As long as we're doing it, the unions are getting their money, the workers are getting their money, the kickbacks are coming in, everything's going like it's supposed to go. But the moment a project, a government project, the moment that project becomes finished, nobody's making money anymore. Why do you think these road jobs that could be done in 6 months take 2.5 years? We had a company come here to 6-lane the interstate. This was about 8 years ago. This company came in and said, we specialize in doing it really fast. And they said, well, if you get it done in 18 months, we're going to give you $1 million bonus. If you get it done in 12 months, we're going to give you this. And they got it down to where he was going to get a $16 million bonus if he got it done a year ahead of time. They finished that project up over a year ahead of time. Our road was open back up. We had our lanes 1 full year ahead of time. And it actually saved the government money giving him the $16 million bonus. It saved the government money because they got the project done a year ahead of time. That's the last time we ever heard of this company. They're gone. The company we got up there now working on the interstate, 2.5 years driving around the same goddamn barrels every day on that highway. And they're still working on that same lane that they've been putting in since June of 2023 or whatever. It's ridiculous. Yeah, and yeah. You know what? When that company was doing it, you didn't see anybody stopping. Because you want to know what that company did? If they finished the road on time, the workers got a $1,000 bonus. Some of that money went to the workers. They were out there every day. They worked. They didn't just hold up shovels like the county workers do. They didn't just sit in their air-conditioned truck like the city workers do. No, they actually were out there working every day. It was amazing. Yes. Yeah, if you take all the regulation away and you pre-plan accordingly and you have all the right people in place, you can build things in an amazingly short period of time. Look at Ron DeSantis down here, our governor. He came down here and the bridge to Sanibel was completely washed out. We had an entire city and another island beyond that was all out of reach by car and truck at a time when it was decimated and we needed to get emergency vehicles out there. We needed to get stuff out there. And so the same thing on Pine Island. The Matlacha Bridge completely wiped out by Hurricane Ian. Completely wiped out. Okay? You know what they did? Governor DeSantis came in and he says, I'm lifting the red tape. I'm signing the checks. Build this. And he said into the camera on Monday, he said, You will cross this bridge by the end of the week. And I watched the people laugh at him. They laughed at him. They pointed and laughed. They wrote up articles in the newspaper. This man's talking about building a bridge in a week. We drove across it Thursday afternoon. It was done. It was done. He made the calls. They brought in the people. The next day, they laid the damn thing. The next day, they paved the damn thing. The next day, they were putting the guardrails on. It was no bullshit. They worked 24 hours a day, 3 shifts. They got light towers, everything. When the government wants to move, they'll move. When the government wants to milk, they milk. They're good at it. They milk it for their union friends, trust me. Tolls never go away. Deploribus unum. Tolls never go away. They told us the same thing on Sanibel, $6 toll. As soon as we can get this bridge paid off, we'll take the toll down. The moment they decided they needed to take the toll down, it was time to build another bridge. Literally, they took the toll down. They're not taking the toll down because guess what? We have to build a new span. We have to fix this span. We have to do this. Alligator Alley, they put the toll up to build it. The toll's never coming down. It's going to be there forever. Sunshine Skyway Bridge, they put up a toll to build it. They built it. They kept charging us. Then a ship knocked that one down. They built another one. Now we've been paying for that one for 25 or 30 years. And it's paid for. Well, no, it's not, because what they'll do is they'll say, well, we got to maintain it. We got to paint it. We got to pave it. We got to work on it. We got to do this. And they'll never stop collecting that toll. A toll is proof of government failure. Remember that. They tax you in your gas, in your insurance. They tax you every time you get on the road. Okay? A bunch of your gas that you buy is road tax. Plus federal tax, income tax, sales tax, property tax from your county, all goes into roads. You pay road tax in almost every tax you pay, whether it's your driver's license, your tag, they all have a road tax on there. You pay all these thousands and thousands of dollars in road tax every year, and your government can't build a bridge. They have to charge you to use the bridge. Bullshit. That's wrong, and that should stop. That should stop today. They should never charge us to use our roads. They're charging us all this money, and they couldn't build that one damn bridge. It's literally, tolls have become a way of just not getting the most out of the money. Tolls are a way to just, look, we're going to build it, we're going to charge them, we're going to do this. It's become lazy government is what it is. That's another problem. Electric vehicles don't pay a road tax. Much of the road tax is derived, matter of fact, the largest portion of road tax is derived from gasoline. Your EVs don't pay gas tax. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons. The only thing that really makes your EV cheaper to operate is the fact that I have to pay 60 or 80 or $1 tax on every gallon of gas that I buy, and you don't. And so there's people right now that are pushing for a meter to actually be put on the chargers for your car, or to charge you per mile or something, because it's not fair that a Tesla owner doesn't have to pay over half of the road tax that I have to pay. His car is actually heavier than mine. Battery-powered cars are much heavier than their gas counterparts, and they do much more wear and tear on the roads than their gasoline counterparts do. The 2 big London airports are part of a private corporation. Well, and it might run better. It might run better. I mean, look at TSA. What a joke. We've got the transportation safety. Those guys, they stand in the airport every day. When they send bombs through, they make it through every time. It's ridiculous. But the entire purpose for the TSA was to make you feel better when you fly. That's it. That's why they don't make you take your shoes off no more. They're now letting you take bottles of water on. They're slowly backing away from all these rules because they were all stupid bullshit rules to begin with. They literally were stupid rules. They're not going to stop anything. We've spent billions on TSA, and chances are they haven't stopped a single hijacking. The infrastructure never gets fixed. I will say we have infrastructure down here a lot better than most. When I drive to towns like Chicago or Baltimore or Washington, even Washington D.C. in some respects, what I see is old infrastructure. Like, I'll go to Baltimore and drive around downtown Baltimore. I wondered where all of our old traffic lights went. Baltimore bought them. They've got the old style small traffic lights up there. Those were outlawed down here in 1988. We have all these big, beautiful lights down here. They've got these little ones up there. They've got old mercury vapor street lights hanging up over the streets, burning all night long. Those burn 5 times the energy of a sodium and 10 times the energy of an LED. So, yeah, all that old infrastructure does cost you money. You know, they can't see that if we take all these street lights that are mercury vapor, which is 1970s technology, okay, and we upgrade them to LED, we'll make that money back in 18 months. Why would they not just go ahead and do it? Why not do it? Then the second 18 months, we're making money on our street lights. But they don't do it. They just won't do it. In these a lot of these cities, these inner cities, they just won't spend any money on infrastructure at all. It just never gets fixed. It's old. It's 50, 60-year-old infrastructure. Down here, it's not like that. Our roads down here are incredible. Big, huge, wide roads, wide bridges, lights. I mean, I drove a cab for a short time. You know, when you drive a cab, you get to know things about your town that you didn't know, and you get to know things about people that you didn't really realize. One of the things that always surprised me, was the number of people that would get in my cab at the airport and all the way to Sanibel or all the way to the beach or all the way to wherever they were going. They would tell me how amazing and nice the roads were. Oh my God, I can't believe how nice your intersections are. All your street lights are on big poles over the intersection. You know, ours are all little lights that are dangling from wires everywhere. And you guys have nice street lights and the nice big wide lanes with emergency lanes and all this and everything. I said, yeah, and we only pay 27% of our money in tax, and you're paying 50% of yours to tax. And yet you've got that old shit infrastructure up there. You really got to look at how your town's being run. Are you being taxed to death, and yet your street lights look like they've been hanging up there for 40 years? You got to ask yourself, what are we doing wrong? When there's other places that are working very well. That's true. Government treats it like it's someone else's money, when in truth it's everybody's money, including them. But they do. They literally treat it like it's somebody else's money. Your county worker that sits in his truck all day with the truck idling and doesn't do a goddamn thing but sit there in his truck all day, that happens all the time here. We see it all the time down here. And I know it happens even more in some other places. Yeah, the guns on the planes, I see both sides of that argument. What really needs to happen is they need to have the proper weapons in the cockpit so that the pilots can take it back. That's what needs to happen. They were arming pilots for a while there, and that kind of slowed down. The answer is that every pilot and every co-pilot needs to be armed. They need to have 3 magazines on them, and they need to buck up. It's part of the job. And when they start beating down that door, you kill them. Yeah, Victor, a lot of places are like that, where the government is just full of nepotism and favoritism, and the money is just spent to get back into people's pockets. Yeah, a place like California, where you're paying 52% of what you make towards taxes, and they can't even put the street signs back up when the thugs rip them down. I mean, come on. Spirit Air is like a flying zoo. Yeah, it's something else out there. I'll tell you, when it comes to why am I getting an error? I assume you guys can all see me okay. There we go. Okay, it is working. Okay. Yeah, well, we've gotten way too heavy-handed with our planes and our airports. People feel now that anybody that does anything on a plane, they should immediately be beat up by the police. And I have seen some egregious shit lately, where the police just go on and just, rip people out or whatever. And I will say, there's a place for that, but it's not necessarily every place is the place for that. I think a lot of times lately, it seems like law enforcement in general likes to get physical when they don't necessarily need to. When I was a cop years ago, the goal was to go home at night without getting into a fight. The goal at night was to go out and catch a guy crawling out of a house that he's burglarizing and arrest him for it. That was what we tried to do. We went out and we patrolled businesses. We checked doors. We would go out and check on people that are out in the middle of the night. We would do things. Law enforcement's changed a lot since I did it in the 90s. Law enforcement now is mostly, we had a cop call our show about a week and a half ago, and my host asked him, he goes, just a question. He goes, I ask cops this question. On the interstate, what's the minimum speed you would go after somebody for? Speed limit 70. How fast do they have to be going before you would chase them? And he literally said, oh, I don't chase them till they're doing near 100 because I want to make sure they're going to run. I want it to be exciting. That's what's wrong with law enforcement. They literally drive around because they like hurting people. They like chasing people. They like locking people up. They like messing up futures for people. They like the power. And we're going to have to somehow dial that back a little bit because it's become too much of what they do. I don't know, Victor. I haven't seen her in weeks. She doesn't live here anymore. All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what carrier that was either, Ding Ding. Yeah, that was crazy. All right, let's see here. I've been on a couple hours. Is there anything else coming up on a couple hours anyway? Not quite there yet. What else do we got going on? I do want to talk for a few minutes about the feeds that we got going on. I actually got all the feeds going tonight for the first time. It's taken most of the day. I took a few hours off early this morning, but it's taken most of the day to get this going. And I'm very happy with where we're at right now because we actually have 8 streams going out, and I can actually show you guys that. Here, let me put in this one. Look at this. We actually have 8 streams going out right now. I got 2 of them showing poor. I got to figure out what's going on there, but they'll come back up here in just a minute. So I got 18. I got 8 streams going out. We got Simplex Radio that is also on live out of the room tonight too. So give him a, if you guys have not liked and subscribed for him, give him that if you would, please. He's a newer channel. He's just kind of starting out. Let's see here. All right, let's go ahead and do a last call for the chat room. Is there anything else you guys would like to bring up tonight? Anything else you'd like me to talk about? I was not even coming on tonight, to be honest with you guys, but I wanted to test this out. Yeah, there was a 911 outage yesterday. I mentioned that on last night's show, and I saw your post also, Victor, on my channel. I appreciate that. Yeah, there was an outage. It was a software glitch. They're saying it was not a hack. Oh, a quick check of the news while you guys are putting in any final thoughts that you have. I'll be back in tomorrow night. I do not have doubles next week. I'm working singles next week. I'm only working in the afternoon. So, I do believe on Thursday and Friday I will be on a little later than usual, probably 9, a little after 9, because I'm working an hour later. However, a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be normal. I should be on about 8:30. I'll get on as quick as I can. And normally Sunday night shows I come on a little early and I stay on a little late on Sunday night. So probably tomorrow night will be a little bit bigger. I'm going to keep things up. I might even put up something on this computer overnight. I'm testing the system. You heard that the Earth is spinning faster. No, I don't think so. We would know. Believe it or not, the measurements, I don't know why did that, God damn it. The whole idea is, with the Earth spinning, is we actually have some very fine measurements there on that, and that's something we would know pretty quickly if that were to happen. Besides, if the Earth were to begin to speed up or slow down, there would be centrifugal forces involved in that. And so it would have to happen very slowly in order for disturbance caused by centrifugal forces. Well, there you go. Deploribus unum. Well, thank you for being here. I'm a general license. I would have gotten my extra years ago, but I'm one of these government people. I don't like giving the government my money, and I don't like the government telling me what I can and can't do. And I've never needed on those little teeny slivers of bandwidth, so I'm not doing the extra. But I do actually have my general. I love it. I use it all the time. I broadcast quite a bit of stuff about ham radio. And I do wish, though, I do wish ham radio was more inviting for people. I really do. But I try myself to make it that way, and I try to put out stuff that will encourage people to get into it. Victor, I don't bother with Prime days. The stuff I order from Amazon is generally not the kind of stuff that goes on sale. Radios and that kind of stuff. And not really purchasing much right now from overseas because I'm waiting for the tariff thing to get worked out, which it will get worked out. And once it gets worked out, we'll be better for it. So we just have to let that kind of play out. Whether you're for it or against it, let's let it play out. Let's see what happens, because I think that it will be it could be beneficial. We'll see. Let me see if there's anything else. All right. Well, guys, if you can, check out some of our other videos. Something you can do to help us out. I know this is a little crazy, but if you've got unlimited bandwidth at home, just leave one of the streams on when you go to bed. I know it sounds crazy, but it helps our algorithms more than anything else. Just throw a thumbs up on there and just let it play. Go to bed. And when you wake up in the morning, when you need the computer, turn it back off. And what you've done is you've helped our station tremendously overnight. All right, other than that, that's what I have. We will be back tomorrow night for a longer show, and we'll see what's going on tomorrow night. Tonight, there's not a lot going on weather-wise. Not a lot going on at all, really. I did check for protests. Those protests in the upper left, those are live. Notice it's starting to get dark there. Pretty sure those are live. The ones in the upper right, I'm pretty sure those are Memorex. So there you go. Times Square looks busy tonight. And of course, there's our close-up shot of Beetlejuice. I think it's so cool that, when we talk about Beetlejuice, remember, it's 642 light years away. So at warp 1, at the speed of light, it would take 642 years plus acceleration and deceleration delay. Which means it's probably like 800 years when you get it all figured out. I hope it does. I hope it does, D-Glass. I got about another 20 days before I have to turn this money in. So I got to cash it in and buy a car. I've got some money coming in, and I want to add to it and go buy a car. And so I'm literally watching the silver prices every day. And yeah, the silver prices are down, guys. It's there. If you guys haven't seen it, silver prices are down, are up. I mean, they're up. Gold prices are up. Things are up. So keep an eye on that. If you are a metals investor, now's the time to maybe cash a little of it in, but you want to keep most of it because I think it's going to go up even more at some point, if not right away. All right. Thank you, Junior. Yeah, this was kind of my day off from broadcasting, but I did it anyway. So there you go. I do appreciate you appreciating that. So there you go. Well, there you go. All right, I will put that on my show notes to be ready for, and that is the volcanoes. That is something I list as something I cover here, and I haven't been in the habit of checking those, so let me get in the habit of doing that, and I'll put those up live too if we can. I'm very interested in volcanology. I'm very interested also in seismology. I love the study of Earth. Earth sciences is my thing, and I love it. Yeah, I think everything is still up, believe it or not. I am very happy about that. I'm looking, yep, I'm showing everything is up. So yeah, I'm going to leave everything up overnight, and we're going to see how it goes. We'll see if I get up in the morning. We'll see how many of these are still going. All right, everybody, that's going to be it. Thank you to the 221 of you that came in tonight. I really appreciate it. It was a fun Saturday, and we're going to be doing it again tomorrow. I'll be a little more prepared tomorrow because I'm actually planning on going on, and we'll do the volcano stuff tomorrow too. And also, I've been watching earthquakes. There was one earthquake that I was going to mention, and that is in Alaska. Believe it or not, we had a. Let's see, make sure this is the latest shot here. Yeah, here I can put that up for you. This is the latest one that just came in Alaska, and we're looking at a 4.5 on the Richter. Now that 4.5 is that's pretty good. I mean, that 4.5 is somewhere between feeling it for sure and knocking a glass off the shelf. So that's a pretty good earthquake. It was 33 kilometers east-southeast of Sestitna, North Alaska. And this was actually just north of Anchorage. A lot of people know where Anchorage is. There is a report of who felt. Oh no, that's for me to report it. Let's see here. Let's see if I was hoping they had a shake map, but I don't see it. But anyway, there we go. The orange ones are from 2 days ago. I don't see anything from yesterday. Those would be pink, and the yellow ones are from 4 days ago. But yeah, we do see that there is this one right here, a 4.5. That happened just today. So yeah, and that is just northeast of Anchorage, near Wasilla. So there we go. That's what that is. and we'll keep an eye on that again tomorrow. All right, everybody, have a good night. My name's Ian. I'm live at Starship Studios in Southwest Florida, where we are simulcasting 8 live feeds at this time. And they are cooking with gas right now, and I'm loving every minute of it. Thank you for supporting our streams and giving us a subscribe out there. Let your friends know we're out here. We're trying to do something a little unique here, and it's taken us a little while to get traction, but we're starting to get it. We're starting to really feel good about it. So thank you, everybody, for what you do, helping us get going. Yep, thanks, Peggy. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm very happy that my equipment's back up. And it's not all back up. I've still got 4 screens over there in a pile. I've still got 2 computers that the display ports don't work on, and 3 other random pieces of equipment that are not working properly. So still some damage, but the damage report was shrunk a little bit today. I got some of the stuff working. I found that things that were completely out, if I power cycled them, I could still get them to come back on. I don't know how damaged they are, but they're working right now, so that's good. All right. Yeah, Peggy pops in. She also goes to Talkin' Life with Nick is another channel that we support here, and she's also on in the evenings. So that's where Peggy was, I bet. But yeah, we appreciate everybody's support here, as well as over on Talkin' Life with Nick, which is a great channel, and also Simplex Radio over here with us tonight. Okay, everybody, that's that. I'm going to go now. This is Starship Adventures. My name's Ian. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, or down the log, or on our next adventure. Whatever it is, have a good one. If anything really big happens, I will break in, so watch for that. If something big's happening, watch for a signal. If I'm available, I will go live. If not, we'll be back on tomorrow night, probably around 8 p.m. We'll see you then. You guys have a great night out there. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures. Good night, everybody. 7 3s.